In this video, I'm going to share the results of my first 2024 12-week year. If you're not sure what the 12-week year is or what I'm really talking about, I have a couple of videos where I talk about what the system is, how I've used it, what I was planning for my 12-week year. So on December 31st, 2023, I sat down and started planning my first 12-week year for 2024, which obviously went from January to March. In fact, today is the last day of my first 12-week year. I'm going to show you what I had planned to do, how things got off course, how things went well, lessons and things I've learned throughout this first 12-week year. And I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into my next 12-week year, which I'll actually do a whole other planning video about what I'm planning for the next 12 weeks of 2024. But first, if you are new around here, hi, hey, how you doing? My name is Brooke Roberts, and I have been a side hustling solo digital creator, entrepreneur type my entire career. Whether I've been an intern or a big VP of a company or running marketing for a tech startup like I do now, I've always had some sort of side hustle. And on this channel, I like to share my journey and the behind the scenes of what it's like to build a digital business and brand online. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe and like this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. So let's get into my 12-week year. I'm going to do a lot of screen sharing in this video, so buckle up, let's go. So here we are in my 12-week year. I love to use Asana for my 12-week year planning. If you'd like to create your own 12-week year using Asana as well, it's my favorite productivity and task management software. It's completely free. If you'd like to get the template that I created for the 12-week year, you can download it down in the description below. I've updated it to start on essentially March 31st, but it goes from April, May, and June of 2024, so you can get started with your 12-week year. Now, of course, if you're watching this later on, you're not starting the same time frame I am, no big deal. You can still download it, just update the dates based on when you are starting your 12 weeks. It doesn't have to happen lockstep when I'm doing it or when anybody else is doing it. It doesn't have to start at the beginning of the month or the beginning of the year, any of that. Just start whenever you are ready, and you can get the link to download this template down below. Okay, so my 12-week year, let's just start with, it didn't go the way I had hoped. And I don't know that any 12-week year ever really does, but I made some big goals that I think were absolutely achievable. The problem is I wasn't totally set on the goals that I selected for my 12-week year. So a little bit of backstory. I started a blog back in 2009 called Inside Study Abroad. And over the years, that blog morphed into a real online business. I sold digital products, online courses, coaching programs, all of that for people wanting to launch and level up their careers in the global education industry. It's hyper niche, hyper specific. It likely does not apply to you, which is no big deal. But when the pandemic hit, my industry, the global education industry, was really hit hard. Obviously, all the programs were being canceled. A lot of companies laid off, 70% of their workforce. Universities were laying off their staff in their study abroad and international programs offices. It was a really, really bleak time for the global education space. And as a result, my business, which totally relied on consulting universities and companies, as well as coaching and selling courses and trainings and things like that, nobody was buying, and all of my contracts for consulting were canceled, rightly so. I kind of came to a fork in the road, if you will, where I could choose to try to revive that business that I was kind of falling out of love with, or I could decide to go on a different path and maybe get a day job again and leverage all these skills I had developed as an entrepreneur to get a great paying job at a cool company that I really loved. Ultimately, that's what I decided to do. I am now director of marketing for an ed tech startup based in Austin, Texas. I live here in Kansas City. I work remote. But I always had this little voice in the back of my mind telling me that maybe I should bring back Inside Study Abroad. I built this amazing asset and this amazing brand and platform. Maybe I should do something to revive it. And it's just been there at the back of my mind for years at this point. Part of me believes, yes, I should absolutely bring it back, but there's a big part of me that just says that chapter in my life is over. It's kind of like you're in a relationship that has run its course, and you learned a lot, you loved a lot out of that relationship, but you're ready to move on. But this idea of how much time and emotional bandwidth that you've invested into this would just be a waste if you didn't continue trying to make it work. That's what we call the sunk cost fallacy. This idea that just because you've dedicated time and energy and money and emotional investment, whatever it is, into something, that it means you have to keep going. And so I planned my 12-week year around this idea of reviving Inside Study Abroad. So 2 of my main goals were migrating the site to a different platform and then also relaunching my career coaching program, the Global Pro Institute. Unfortunately, I could just never, even though I had the very specific tactics each week that I knew if I just did it and just did the things and checked off the boxes, that I would find success. I would be able to truly be able to tick this off and say I relaunched it, brought in 10 students to the program, or whatever metric I might be trying to hit, that I migrated the site. I could have done all that. I had plenty of time. But when it came time to sit down to do it, I just couldn't bring myself to do it. And so by about week 9 of my 12-week year, I kind of just decided I am deleting this, or I'm putting this on hold until I am 150% sure that I wanted to move forward with reviving Inside Study Abroad. So we will start with the fact that I did not get 2 of my goals accomplished that I set out for myself this 12-week year. And honestly, I think that was a good thing. Going into 2024, I knew I wanted to get something going, in my side hustle world. My professional life is going great. My personal life is going great. Just didn't know what direction to really take this side hustle game. The other side of this is I knew that I wanted to revive my personal brand. I really wanted to focus in on reviving my YouTube channel, focusing a lot of time here and on the podcast as well, just being consistent, not having any kind of growth metrics necessarily that I had to hit, but just making sure I published X number of videos throughout the 12 weeks and just getting in the reps and being consistent and getting used to pushing out content every single week. I did that almost. I'm chalking it up as a win. I've checked it off here because I was able to do a lot of things to help revive my brand. So one of the things, I knew that I love the 12-week year. I love productivity and planning and goal setting. And a lot of people, I can't remember how many sold now, but well over 150 people have purchased my 12-week year template, my Asana template, which is amazing. If you're one of those people, thank you so much. I hope you're getting a lot of value out of it. But I knew I wanted to update that, so I was able to do that in the first month. So in January, that's what I was able to accomplish. I also knew that I wanted to record/publish a new 12-week year video, which I was able to do the first week of January. I also wanted to publish 11 videos to my YouTube channel. I wanted to give myself a little space there to fail. So if one week I wasn't able to get something out, keeping in mind that I work full time and I was going to be traveling quite a bit in February and in January. I went to Colorado. So I knew that my time would be limited and there'd be certain weeks I just wouldn't be able to publish. But after I published this video, which is going to go live tomorrow, so I'm counting it as a done video. But I just added this, is that I wanted to get remonetized on this YouTube channel. I'm pretty confident that I will hit that threshold by March 31st. So we'll see. I haven't ticked it off just yet. I will come back to you and let you know in the community tab if I do get remonetized.
Editing Brooke here. I just got remonetized. Literally about 4 hours ago, I got an email from YouTube saying I am remonetized. So I did achieve that goal. So feeling good about that.
As you can see here, I have a lot of other things I decided to put on hold. I actually will be doing another video, an episode talking about why I decided to put some of these things on hold and kind of how I'm thinking about my brand and how I want to structure it moving forward. In my 12-week year planning video back in January, I talked a lot about the brand brazenness, but that also I decided to table, and I will talking about why and what I'm replacing it with moving forward. That was like my primary goal, is kind of reviving my brand and getting back into a groove on publishing content, promoting products and services, even if they're not my own, like Kajabi, getting back into the content creation workflow and getting used to that process. For my other 2 goals, like I said, they are both related to Inside Study Abroad, and I have paused those. In fact, those are just going away. I'm not going to be working on Inside Study Abroad anymore. It's not going to be part of my goals. If I do anything with it, it'll be outside of my goals. I've made peace with this decision. I'm ready to move forward. But let's talk about what I did achieve. So I'm going to only show my completed tasks here. So when you use Asana, I love this, that you can sort things by date, when it was created, who's it assigned to, alphabetically. You can then group them by their sections or by assignee, by project, etc. So lots of cool ways you can reveal all of your items in your project inside of Asana. So you can just play around with that and see what works for you. But I'm going to focus on the things that got checked off. So let's focus on what I did do, not what I didn't do. Week 1, I went out hot. I was doing great. I was focused on getting those videos out, reintroducing myself to my email list. That was a lot of fun. The second week of January, I went to Colorado, but I was still able to write and publish 2 emails to my list, as well as edit and publish my 12-week year video. And I was able to edit and publish my Is Kajabi Worth It video. I was very, very productive in a week where I was basically on vacation from my day job. I was learning how to ski. I was going to see live music. I was having a lot of fun. I was doing dry January as well. I was able to get a lot done because I was never hungover, which is an amazing feeling. The third week of January, I was able to have a Casey adventure. I did read 1 book. I published a video about what's next. And then week 4, again, I was just on my video production game. I was able to publish 2 more videos that week. Week 5, I actually did do my planning and my review finally. So that was nice. I did publish a video, that a little different style of a video. It was much more scripted than my normal videos, where I just kind of talk off of a bulleted list of talking points, which I can talk a lot, y'all, and I can ramble on. So I'd love to know if you prefer my off the cuff kind of just chatty versions of my videos, or if you prefer the 5 digital products video that was very scripted. Week 6, I had a few adventures that week, which was really exciting. And like the biggest thing that happened that I knew was a goal for this year, I knew I was either going to pay off my student loans this year, or I was going to buy a house with my partner, Zach. So had a fun evening out with my girlfriends and gay friends on Galentine's. And that same night, an offer that my partner and I made on a house was accepted. We are buying a house. Very exciting development to buy a house much earlier in the year than I honestly thought we would. My brother and my sister-in-law also came to town, and we had a great weekend with them. So it was a very busy week. Week 6 was an epic week. I was feeling really good halfway through this 12-week year. Week 7, week 8, week 9, week 10, I was able to publish videos. I missed a week, of course, but I was in DC for a conference and just really, really busy with my day job. And because I just knew I wasn't going to do the Inside Study Abroad stuff. And so I just kind of got away from even looking at my 12-week year plan. Another video in week 10, video in week 11, and then here we are now in week 12. Here in Kansas City, we hosted the NCAA Division I National Wrestling Championships. Got my brother tickets for his birthday. He loved it. It was a great time. Got to hang out with my niece and my sister-in-law as well. It was a really, really fun weekend. And so now here we are to Sunday, wrapping up my first 12-week year of 2024. Let's talk a little bit about my reflection, and you'll have this as well if you download the template that's available again in the link in the description. But I wanted to go through some of these reflections that I had earlier. These questions are included. Of course, you can choose any kind of reflection question that makes sense to you. Starting off with what worked well, staying focused on just publishing. Not worrying about the analytics, not worrying about the stats, not worrying about really anything other than just getting things published. My tendency for perfectionism and wanting to seem like I have all my shit together all the time, that really hamstrings me often, forces me to just freeze instead of actually moving forward and making progress towards my goals. I wanted to ignore my perfectionist tendencies and really lean in to just publish something. Just publish something, even if it's not great. And the beauty of my channel being quite small right now and my podcast not having a huge listenership at this point is that not a lot of people are watching, not a lot of people are listening. So I can experiment and try things and just get things out there and see what resonates and what doesn't. The funny thing about this is that one of the videos on my channel that recently popped off last December, in December 2023, my 12-week year video that I recorded a year before, popped off in December. And that video I recorded on my webcam. The lighting is horrible. I am so washed out in that video because I'm just surrounded by windows. It was like crazy lighting. It's just not a great quality video, but the content I think was great and helpful to people. I just need to stop overthinking about the production quality and really focus more on just put something out there that you think people might find helpful. So that's what worked well. What didn't work well? Well, of course, over planning and over committing as usual. My heart wasn't in relaunching Inside Study Abroad, like I mentioned, and so I procrastinated getting started on it. I also went back and forth on what it is I want to share on this channel, like what kind of channel do I want it to be? Who am I trying to talk to? Who am I trying to help? How am I trying to help them? What is the purpose? What the heck am I doing here? So I definitely experimented with some different things, but I didn't really plan ahead. I didn't really plan for what I wanted to talk about each week. I had an idea and just went with it instead of really focusing on maybe creating a better strategy. But like I said before, I'm glad I just published, even if it didn't make really any sense, especially to you all if you're watching. So what did I learn about myself? I learned that I'm not interested in reviving Inside Study Abroad. The other thing I learned is that just because I'm not sure if I'm on the right track or if I'm just getting off track, that abandoning the plan completely is not a good idea. When I was hesitating about Inside Study Abroad, I think it would have been better if in one of my weekly reviews, I just decided, okay, we're shifting gears. And instead of focusing on Inside Study Abroad, I'm going to focus on this and just pushed Inside Study Abroad back until I was confident in exactly what I wanted to do with. Instead, I just abandoned it. I just was like, never mind. And I didn't sort of regroup in any capacity. If I'm faltering or unsure, just regroup, recalibrate, and continue forward. What am I going to take with me into the next 12 weeks? I'm going to take focus on publishing consistently, being okay letting go of Inside Study Abroad. It's still a process. There are still some moments where I'm like, oh, maybe I'm making the wrong decision. I mean, 5 minutes ago, I was reviewing all of my 12-week year stuff and the things I'd planned to do. And I was like, oh, this was such a good plan. This was such a good idea. But even though it's a good plan, and even though I know I could do it, the big reality here is I don't want to do it. And what am I most proud of? Staying consistent on YouTube. I'm very proud. I've never been this consistent on this platform before. I've also been staying consistent with my yoga and weights routine. I didn't talk about that at all in my 12-week year planning, but in my annual planning, I talked about wanting to have a consistent 2 to 3 times per week of yoga and or weights. And I've been lockstep with that the whole time. And overall, limiting my alcohol intake throughout the entire 12 weeks. Oh, the other thing that I'm also going to leave behind, one of the things that I did wrong is I tried to use too many systems to track the different things I wanted to accomplish. I had sort of a annual goal setting dashboard that I was testing out that I found from a company, and it uses Google Sheets, and it's very pretty. But I also have my 12-week year in Asana, and then I had habit trackers elsewhere. And it's just too much. I need to have everything in one place. Moving forward, all of that is going to be in Asana. So what I am taking with me is Asana, and I'm actually going to leave behind all the other systems I have been experimenting with. Yeah. So I feel very good about that. So like I said, I have an updated version of the 12-week year template for you. You can get a copy of this, upload it into your own Asana, and start working through your own plan. Create a project that looks just like this, including all the dates, all the subtasks, everything that you need will be right in here through the 12 weeks. And you will also get a link to a training video where I walk you through step by step how to upload it into your Asana, how to customize it for you, and the things you need to think about. Hopefully that'll all be really helpful and inspire you to get started on your own 12-week year. Again, link to that down below in the description, and I will see you in my next video where I reveal my next 12-week year plan to you all. Let me know what were your big goals for the first 3 months of 2024 or your last 12-week year whenever you did a 12-week year. What has worked? What hasn't? Tell me all the good stuff. Spill the tea. I would love to chat with you in the comments down below. And remember that every day you postpone a dream, you weaken it a little. So get out there and make some magic happen. Cheers.